This woman opens the refrigerator to see what she has to eat, but ends up finding nothing she can eat. She only finds alcoholic beverages, realizing that the owners of the house like this. And even though she looks hard, she can't find anything. However, after turning around, she ends up finding a pot of chocolate, and says that she has always wanted to eat from that brand. She wonders what she can eat with, and decides to eat chocolate with bananas. The woman thinks that the bosses won't even notice that she ate that chocolate, so she starts to pass the chocolate on the banana. She never could buy one of those, because it's too expensive, and she doesn't have the money to buy it, but always wanted to taste it. She eats chocolate of that brand for the first time, and finds it all very tasty. But she knows that if her boss sees this, she will end up in a complicated situation. But she thinks that she doesn't even care about that, and continues eating the chocolate, saying that she will leave just a little bit in the pot. She loves the chocolate of that brand, and says that it is a good thing that her boss has money, because then he will be able to buy a lot of that brand, because now she will only eat that chocolate. She is determined to eat everything with that chocolate from that day on. And after eating everything, she says that she will stop there, because the boss can't find out that she ate the chocolate, and she puts it in the same place where it was before. Then she throws the banana peel in the trash, and washes her hands to hide that she was the one who ate from the boss's things. As soon as she finishes washing her hands, she finds a lot of dirty clothes for her to wash, and says that she's not going to wash them. Then she starts going through the cupboards of the house, seeing which products are missing in her house, so she can take them to her house, knowing that the mistress won't even notice. Some products are too big for her to hide in her purse, so she decides to take only one product, otherwise her boss might notice. So she takes her purse and puts the product inside, intending to hide it and take it home as soon as she leaves. The maid knows that the mistress won't go through her purse, that she can't possibly do that now, so she decides to take the product. And she leaves the bag hidden, so the mistress won't see. Soon after, the mistress enters the room greeting her, and asks if she is back from the weekend. The maid answers yes, but that she was very sad at home, because she misses her work at her employer's house. She misses staying at home, and misses her boss. Then she had nothing to do at home, and she wanted to work soon. The mistress says that they also miss the maid a lot. Then she says she wants the maid to wash all of her husband's clothes, because he's going on a trip the next day, so everything needs to be clean. And she explains where she left the clothes. Then the maid says she's sorry to inform, but they're out of fabric softener. She tells her that she was going to wash the clothes at that time, but she noticed inside the closet that she ran out. The mistress doesn't understand, because she had recently bought some, and when she looks through the cupboards, she realizes that she really doesn't have any fabric softener left. The maid says that when the mistress entered the room, she was getting ready to wash. And the mistress says she'll have to go to the market again. And the maid suggests that she might have forgotten it at the market, and that these things happen, because sometimes even she forgets things. Then the mistress changes the subject, asking the maid to iron her clothes, since she will need to wear them in a few moments, and explains specifically which clothes need to be ironed. The maid says that's fine, and the mistress thanks her for the service. After this, the day laborer is alone in the room again, and says that she will do this job soon. She irons a lot of clothes and separates the ones her bosses will wear that day. And she remembers that she has told them what their son is going to wear. And she hurries to iron them too, otherwise she knows that the little boy will be annoying her the whole time if she doesn't iron properly. Then, when she realizes that she is alone in the room, she realizes that she can use the moment to look at her mistress's jewelry, so she can choose one for herself. She puts her clothes aside on the bed and goes after her mistress's jewelry. Inside the box she finds several jewels and spreads them out on the bed, starting to try on the ones she finds most beautiful. She finds a bracelet made of pearls and finds it beautiful. So she wears the bracelet and begins to look herself in the mirror, saying that she looks incredible. She finds a pair of beautiful earrings. She also tries on the earrings, and in the end chooses some to take back to her. But she realizes that there is no pocket on her apron to hide the jewelry. So she hides it all inside her own clothes, because she knows that no one will see anything there. After taking the jewelry, she puts the others back where she found them and decides to go back to work. But she gets desperate when she realizes that her clothes have been left with the iron's mark, because she left it hot on her blouse. She knows that her employer is not going to like this situation at all, because this was the shirt that her son was going to wear that day, and so she will end up deducting it from her salary. The clothes are stained by the burning, which makes the maid very worried about what will happen to her. And she knows that she will have to tell her mistress everything. And so she musters up the courage to call her at that very moment. Each time she calls her, she's even more worried about how she's going to resolve this situation. As soon as the mistress enters the room, she questions what happened and why she was shouting. The maid, even though afraid of her reaction, begins to tell her that she was ironing all the clothes that she ordered. But the iron is defective, and therefore ended up staining her son's clothes. The mistress says that this is the shirt that her son likes the most. And the maid changes the subject when she says that she has already ironed the clothes that the mistress said she would wear, and that she has left in her closet. The clothes not only stained, but also tore because of the iron's temperature. And the maid says that the mistress needs to buy another iron, because that one is very bad. But she says that the mistress can deduct the amount from her salary. But the mistress says she doesn't need that, and just asks her to throw away those clothes, and then she can buy another one for her son. The day laborer asks if she is sure, and the mistress confirms that she is. She says that she has nothing more to do, because the clothes have been burned, but that the maid can rest easy about it. And after that she leaves the maid alone in her room. She then says that her mistress must really have a lot of money, because she is going to throw those clothes in the trash. But the maid decides that she's not going to do that, and that she's going to give the clothes to her son, already thinking how cute he'll look wearing that blouse. She also hides the clothes, not even caring that they are torn and stained, since she has no money to buy them. After that, she unplugs the iron and puts it on the floor. After that, she leaves the room, thinking how great it will be to go to the party after work. Minutes later, the mistress thinks about how strange the maid is acting, and thinks that something might be going on. She's never had this attitude before. So she calls for the maid, who immediately asks what she wants. The mistress asks for a glass of water, and she answers immediately that she will get it, even though she doesn't like to do this, she pretends that it's okay for her to get the water. In the kitchen, she puts water for the mistress. But in anger she spits in the glass too, just because she is a bad person. Then she hands the glass to the mistress, who drinks without even imagining what the maid has done. Then, after drinking it, she says that the water tastes bad. And the maid agrees, saying that she also felt that it tastes a little bitter. And she says she thinks the mistress better call someone to fix it. The mistress agrees and says that she will, that it might be something from the seepage. She again drinks some of that water, and finds it really bad. But the maid asks her to drink it again, just to see if it's really bad. But the mistress refuses, saying she's already had enough. Then she asks the maid to get his phone number, that when she has time, she will call him to fix this problem. She also says that she doesn't want to drink any more of the water, and after that the maid says that it's okay and that she will get the phone number of the person who makes the repair, and that she will wash the dishes. Then she goes to her room, thinking she should call the maintenance man. Then she opens the closet, to see if the maid ironed her clothes properly, because she has been acting strange lately. She realizes it's not ironed well, but at least she can wear it. And she says that that outfit will look perfect with 2 of her bracelets, and an earring that she has. But when she takes the jewelry box from the drawer, she can't find the bracelets and earring she was looking for. For 2 weeks now, the maid has been acting strange, that things are frequently disappearing from her house. So she thinks she's going to have to look in her purse. She knows she has never done this before, and feels bad for being suspicious, but she will have to look in the maid's purse, she has no other choice. When she enters the empty kitchen, she keeps talking to herself, that she didn't want to do this to the maid, but she feels obliged to. Then when she opens her purse, she finds the fabric softener that is missing, and even her lost jewelry. She calls for the maid immediately, wanting to get even with her, ordering her to come to the kitchen right away. When the maid enters the kitchen, the mistress starts questioning what all that is, and if she would take it all to her house, and accuses her of theft. The maid is speechless, but ends up saying that it's nothing like that and that she can explain everything. She then lies that her son passed out this week, and so she had to take some extra money to spend on her son's medicines. So she ran out of money and had to get the fabric softener to wash her son's clothes. And the mistress questions why the maid didn't ask for this money, because she knew she would give it. She trusted the maid, but realizes that she took the bracelet she got as a gift from her husband. The maid is still trying to find excuses to justify herself. She says that that bracelet the mistress hardly ever wears, and her dream was to have one like that, so she took it. But the mistress doesn't understand why she didn't ask for it. She won the bracelet from her husband as a wedding present, and she doesn't wear it because she's afraid of losing it or having it stolen, because it's a special gift. Then the maid starts to cry, saying that she's really wrong. The mistress interrupts her by asking how long she has been working in her house, and she replies that it's 2 years. And the mistress says it's a trust that's been broken. But the diarist begs her boss not to do this, asking her not to fire her, because she is a solo mother and has her son to raise. She says she doesn't know what was going on in her head, that she was going crazy, but it's too much going on. And that she has a lot of debts to pay off, but she promises it won't happen again. The mistress says that her family has always done everything for the day laborer. And the maid swears she won't do it again. The mistress says that she was family, and is quite upset about the whole situation, while the maid keeps promising that she won't do it again. She argues that she has a small child to raise, and apologizes for her actions. But the mistress says that she will do something that few would do, and will give the maid another chance. She will continue to work in her house, but asks her not to break her trust again. And after saying all this, she leaves the maid alone in the kitchen. And the maid becomes desperate, thinking that the worst can happen if the mistress finds out that the maid has spit in her glass. She realizes what a good person her mistress is, and then goes to leave her purse in her little room. Weeks later, she is ready to wash the mistress's clothes, knowing that she cannot leave it for another day. She goes through all her pockets before washing the clothes, and ends up finding money inside her pocket and waiting on her apron. Soon her mistress calls her, so she goes to talk to her. The mistress explains that she is going out to work, and so she doesn't need to make lunch, because no one is coming home. She says that anything the maid can call, and asks if she wants anything from the street. And the maid says she doesn't need it, so the mistress says goodbye before leaving, but the maid calls her, saying that she forgot it, and hands the money to the mistress, explaining that she found it in one of her clothes. The mistress then takes the money and thanks her for returning it, and says that it reminded her of something she bought for the maid. She then takes from her backpack a bracelet just like hers, giving it as a gift to the maid. She is very happy about it, starts jumping for joy and thanks for the gift. The mistress says that she remembered when she said she never had a bracelet like that, so she bought it as a present. The employee puts it on her arm, seeing how beautiful they were, and again thanks the boss for the gift. And the boss says that just because the maid has returned the money, it shows how much she has changed, and she hopes that she keeps it up, and that everything can work out. And the mistress leaves for her appointment. While the day laborer is very happy with her gift, saying that now she can show off to her friends. All happy as she thinks of various ways to show off her bracelet to others, and then goes on with her work.